Hello guys, welcome to this channel. So in today's tutorial I'll be learning how to make this beautiful kaftan slash bubu dress with a front slit and also a collar and a tight waistline. So if this looks like what you would want to learn, do not forget to hit on the like and the subscribe button. Do well by turning on your notification bell so you can get notified when next we upload new tutorials. Please ensure you give this video a thumbs up so that YouTube can make this video go viral, so that other Suf mates can get to see this video. And to our new and old subscribers, thank you for stopping by. Let's get straight into the video. So these are the material that I'll be using for this tutorial. I have this material. This is 4 yards, and also this is my Duchess material. I have about half yard, or you can get 1 yard. And also this is my button. I've made a cover button with this fabric, and also my chalk, scissors and ruler. So guys, I'll be folding my fabric into 4. As you can see, I folded it into 4. Okay, so make sure you fold into 4. The other side is on the folded side. So I'm going to secure with my safety pin because this fabric actually gave me a tough time. The fabric is silky kind of. So I've gone ahead to mark my start line. I'm going to place my tape and measure my neck width. So the neck width that I'm using is 3.5. I've gone ahead to mark 3.5. Then my shoulder is 16 divided by 2 is 8. So I also went ahead to mark 8. So from that point where I marked 8 inches, I'm going to be marking between 6 to 7 inches, or I marked 5.5. I'll be sewing that place before our opening. The sleeve has an opening, so I'm going to be marking 7 inches for my opening, for my sleeve opening. You can go ahead and use more than 7 if that's what you want. Okay, so I'll go ahead and notch that point now, that my opening. Please go ahead and notch it at the top so that you don't get to mix this up. Go ahead and notch it. So guys, after I was done notching, I'm going to be measuring 3 inches because we have to close it back. Okay, so this is going to be the end of our sleeve. I'm supposed to mark 2 inches, but I marked 3 because I'll be folding. So from that point, we are going to determine our round sleeve measurement. The round sleeve measurement I'm using is 12 divided by 2 is 6. So as you can see, I went ahead to mark 6 inches from that our start line. So I also go ahead and determine my half length. So the half length that I'm using is 16. From that half length, I'll measure my knee, take my knee measurement. So the knee measurement I'm working with is 36 inches. Please go ahead and take your impute your measurement. So I've gone ahead to mark 36 inches. So from 36 inches, I'll determine the full length of this gown, and the full length I'm working with is actually 57, but I'll add 1 inch to make it 58 for the folding. So on the knee line, I'm going to be imputing my measurements. This totally depends on you. I'll be using 16 inches. Then I'll be sewing it in by 1 inch. So you can use 15, you can use 14. That depends on you. So I went ahead to mark 16 on the knee line, and also at the full length of this gown. Then I'm just going to connect straight. Okay, from the knee to the full length, you are going to connect straight. You measure the same thing and mark like so. Okay guys, and also I'm going to be measuring my half length. Okay, I'm just going to connect it to the end, and also from my half length I'll be marking my hip line. So the hip line that I'm working with is 8 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark 8 inches like so. Can you see guys? So I'll be marking 8 inches. Please make sure you connect it to this other end. So this is my hip line. So from that hip line, I'll connect to this point where we marked 16 inches earlier. Can you see? Go ahead and connect. If you don't want your bubu to be too wide, you should not connect it to the end of that your hip line. So from these 6 inches of my sleeve, I'll blend it up to my hip line like so. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I'm going to be cutting this out so that you can watch and understand carefully. If you don't want this other part, can you see? If you don't want this other part, you should not connect it to the end. That is on the hip line. Then I'm just going to cut out like so. Guys, this is what it looking like. So I'm going to be notching these other points where our round sleeve stop. I need to notch this so that it will serve as a guide for me, and I'll also reduce the upper part because I left 1 inches before starting and it's too much for me, so I've reduced it to half of an inch. Then I'll go ahead and notch back again the part of our sleeve opening. I'll go ahead and notch it again so that we don't get to mix this up. So this is our neck. I'm going to be cutting out the back neckline, so go ahead and trace it to the back. The back, the center back, is the opening is not doesn't have opening, so I'll be using the neck depth of 1 inch for the back and 1 inch, yes, 1 inch for the back. So I've gone ahead to separate the back from the front. So I'm going to be marking from the start line. I'm going to be marking between 8 inches or 9 inches for our neck depth. So I'm going to connect with my ruler from the top, from the shoulder line. Just connect with your ruler to my 8 inches, or you can use 9 inches. Okay, so from that point I'll be marking 2 inches because we are going to be reducing the front. Since it has collar, we'll be reducing it by 2 inches. So I'll be connecting it again, so I'll get a new neck line. So I'm not going to be using this previous one. I'll be using the new one now. Okay, so I'll be marking 2 inches all the way down because we'll be reducing this and be adding our collar, so we don't want it to be too big, so we have to reduce it by 2 inches. And also I'll go ahead and cut out. So I'm going to determine, remember the front has slits, I'm going to determine how the height of the length of my slit. So I mark 19 inches from the hem. Okay, so you are going to cut. When you get to that point, I'm going to stop and notch that place so that I'll be sure that this is where my slit is starting from. Mark 19 inches or 20 inches from the hem. This totally depends on you. I'll go ahead and keep cutting. When I get to that 8 inches for my neck, okay, I'll go ahead and notch as well, just like we did for the slit. Okay, cut through and make sure you notch that 8 inches. Make sure you blend it up so that you don't have sharp corner or sharp points around that area. Okay, so notch that point. So we have two parts where we notched for the front. So I'm going to be measuring my neck. So I folded it into two and I left half of an inch at the top. When you measure, I have 3 3/4 of an inch. Please take note of that point, of that measurement. Then I'll measure the front as well. So I just want to determine the length of our collar. So this will serve as a guide for us. So when you measure to the end, we have 3 3/4 initially, or let's say almost 4 inches, and we have 58. So when you add it up, that's about 60 something thereabout. So our fabric, I've gone ahead to measure 5.5 for the wideness, and also the length you mark 65 or 66. Okay, so I have two pieces because we are measuring for two sides, so I'll join them and add my gum stay to it. So guys, after I was done joining, I went ahead to remeasure. I trimmed the excess. It was 5.5 initially. Now we have 5 inches, and Also, I've ironed it. I folded them into two. Okay, so this is what it looks like. As you can see, it's very long. Okay, so now I'm going to get the midpoint. So this is the midpoint of my collar. I'll give it a notch. Okay, please make sure you notch the center of your collar. Then I'm going to join my shoulder together. Place them right side facing each other. Go ahead and join your shoulder before fixing your collar. So I'll be stitching using half of an inch. When I get to that point where I notched, I'm going to stop, then continue again from the second notch. Okay, you see why it's very important for us to notch. I'll do the same thing to the other side. Guys, after I was done sewing, this is what it looks like. I also went ahead to overlock it using my overlocking machine. Can you see the spacing? Okay, I'll open it up and give it a good press. Make sure you also do the same thing to the other second sleeve. So guys, just go ahead and give it a good press. So I'm going to be stitching this other part where we have our opening. So guys, we are going to be stitching it. You do the same thing to the other side as well. I'm going to be folding the round sleeve. Go ahead and notch it a little. Open up the slit so that it will be easy for you to fold. Just fold using half of an inch, just tiny thing. Just go ahead and do the same thing to the other side as well. So guys, after I was done stitching, this is what it looks like. Also, for the neck, I'm going to I've notched the center of my neck, so I'll be measuring from that center to where my first notch, that 8 inches where we marked. You see, I'm going to mark it so that you can see. I've notched it earlier, so you're going to measure from the center back to that point. What I have is 12 and 3/4. Please take note of that, please. 12 and 3/4. Then I'll continue measuring until I get to my slit. You know, we notch that slit too, so you're going to measure on you until you get to that part. So when I got there, I'm going to mark it. Can you see? That's the place. So I'll measure. What I have there is about 44 inches. Please take note of that. So I'm going to take my collar. I'll measure from the center back as well. I'll be marking 12 and 3/4. Please remember what we had was 12 and 3/4. So you are going to use your pen and mark on that spot 12 and 3/4. Okay, you can open it up and mark it very well. So I discovered the biro was not doing justice. I had to use my pencil. So that's 12 and 3/4. So I'll continue measuring from that point. I'll go ahead and measure my 44 inches. Okay, so you go ahead and measure 44 inches for our slit. So just take your time. I actually measured 40 inches. So I later on um extended the line. I don't know what happened. I was supposed to measure 44, but I measured 40. So I'm going to extend this line as well, like we did on that 8 inches, so that it will serve as a guide for us. Later on, we'll still extend this because when I was sewing it, I now realized that I didn't measure 44. As you can see, I've also gone ahead to get the center line of this collar. So right now, this is our back. I'm going to place them right side facing each other, the center back. Please, can you see where we notched? That's our center back. Place them together and you can see, look at the point where we marked that 12 and 3/4 inch, 12 and 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to be stitching all the way until you get to the 44 inches. Okay, so you start from the 12 and 3/4, you stitch until you get to that point. Okay, so I'll do that and show you how to open it up. Guys, after I was done stitching, this is how you open it up. Flip the two upwards and guys, this is what you would have. Then you go ahead and give it a good press. Okay, so now I want to fix our collar to our dress. Get the midpoint, the center back. Remember, we've notched them so it will be easy for you. So you are going to secure them together like this. Then you go ahead and trace it until you get to that 12 and 3/4, the first part. please go ahead and that's what you do until you get to the end. So guys, as you can see, when we got to that our 12 and 3/4 of an inch, can you see that it matches up with this other side, okay, where we just stitch the collar, the center of the collar, they are matching up. So when you should do the same thing, you should have the same thing when you get to that 44 inches. But I realized that it was not matching up, so I'll have to, when I get to that point, I'll have to open it up, okay. Just go ahead and pin up until you get to that point. So guys, I now realize that it was not matching up, can you see? So I'll have to open this up and extend our stitch, our seam at the center of our collar. Then after doing that, you can now attach it to your front, so mark that point on your collar so that it will be easy for you. No one will be longer than the other. So I'm going to extend the stitch and continue sewing. I'll finish it up and show you guys after I was done stitching. Can you see how it looking? So this is what it looks like after I was done stitching. I'll go ahead and trim off any excess. Also, I'll be folding the hem of this gown, okay. Fold the hem, the front, and also the back. I also went ahead to use my overlocking machine to overlock that collar area, okay. So I wanted a neat finishing. So guys, I'm also going to be stitching the sides as well. Place them together like this, right side facing each other. Then you go ahead and stitch all the way to the down part. So guys, after I was done stitching, I went ahead to overlock it as well. You do the same thing to the other side. Can you see? I've gone ahead to overlock it and stitch using half of an 1 inch. Also, this dress has a rope at the front, so the length of this rope, this strap, is about 41 inches, and the wideness you can use 3 inches. So I'll fold them together and stitch using half of an inch, then I'll turn it out, okay. We need two of these. So after I was done turning, I make sure I enclosed one side, okay. So this other part, I'm going to get the from my half length. This is my half length, so I'm going to take my waist measurement divided by 4 is 7.5. Go ahead and mark 7.5, okay. Then I'm going to be placing my strap like so. I'm going to be placing it like this at the top, not on the line. Please, when stitching, don't stitch together with the back, it's just the front, okay. You are just going to stitch the front because we want to give the front that waistline, want it to give it a tight waistline. So I'll repeat the same thing to the other side. Measure 7.5, our waist measurement. Please, you are going to be placing your strap this way at the top, okay, not the other way around like we did for the first one. So you're going to pin it first and stitch. You're going to stitch it very well, just the front and not the back. Please, can you see? This is how you are going to be placing it. Stitch, oh, and don't stitch to the back. So this is it, guys. After I was done stitching, this is what it looks like. I'll turn it out. Then also I'll go ahead and fix my button. And guys, this will be the end of this tutorial. You're going to use your needle and thread to tack this up, and this is the final outcome, guys. As you can see, this is looking beautiful. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, like and share this video, and do it by turning on your notification bell so you can get notified when else we upload new tutorials. Thank you for watching this video to the end. See you in my next tutorial. Bye.